Wow, it is like hashtag bright out here. Also hashtag cold. It's like May. Why is it freezing? Goodness. Anyway, if you guys will remember with me with your brain places here for a second, back in like January, I think, yeah, January, I told you guys that I was gonna be leaving, that I was gonna be going out to Pennsylvania to SMBI, Sharon Mennonite Bible Institute, to study and stuff like that, hang out with friends. It's been a minute since I gave you guys an update and like actually told you guys what happened, because that's like exactly when COVID-19 hit and everything, and it kind of threw a humongous wrench into the gears. Someone forgot to turn the air compressor off. Okay, a few things to understand about SMBI. First of all, there are five terms, 1 through 5, and they all have different lengths. So I was there third term and fourth term, which starts in January and is supposed to end like April 23rd, I think. Each term is 6 weeks, and then at the end of the term there is a choir tour. You go around to different churches and like sing for a whole bunch of people. It's really, really cool. And like I said, I didn't really have time to record this stuff while I was there, so I figured I might as well just catch you guys up to it now. Third term went awesome. I don't think I heard the word coronavirus at all during that whole period, which, by the way, coronavirus? It sounds like a bad name of a ancient dinosaur or something. It's like, yeah, not sure how I feel about that. Anyway, I didn't like hear that at all. The organization that kind of asks you not to spend a lot of time like on social media and on like the news and stuff, which is awesome because it keeps you focused and like studying and yeah, it helps you engage with the people around you a little bit more. Yeah, third term went awesome. Studies were great, made some awesome friends, had a 1 week choir tour, which was really fun. We proceeded to have a short break in between the 2 terms, and then fourth term started. And fourth term is kind of where everything went haywire. Oh, fun fact, this is my shed hauling trailer. This is like what I do for a job. I haul mini barns on this thing. Fourth term was great. I'm gonna try to get the timeline right. I might get it wrong. It's been like a month or so since all that, a couple months since all that happened. But about week 2 and 3 is where we started hearing about this virus going around. Some people were like, oh, it'll blow over, it's no big deal. Other people were like, oh, we're all gonna die. I kinda like to think I was somewhere in the middle, but who actually knows for sure? Whoa. But yeah, so it wasn't like something that we were at all concerned about until quite a bit later. But it escalated really quickly. Right at about week 4, everything kind of set in. So like they had a board meeting, they're like, this is serious. So they basically shut everything down, as in like not sending us home, but like they're basically like, okay, so no one leaves unless you're not gonna interact with any or come in contact with anyone. So no visitors were allowed, which stunk because I had a lot of friends that were gonna come visit me. Then a little while later, I don't remember the exact amount of time that passed in between there, the PA government was like, hey, all non-essential businesses need to shut down. It was really difficult because it was a business, yes, but it was also a religious organization. So there was a little bit of grace for religious gatherings and organizations and stuff like that, but yet it was still a business, so it was a little bit of a gray area. So they were very much in contact with the local government, and the enforcers, like the state troopers, were like, we don't really know either. So they were like, well, just keep doing your thing and we'll let you know if anything changes when we figure this out. And they're like, if something does change, you'll need to leave within like 24 hours, basically. So we basically like lived our lives for 3 days or so, where we're just like, okay, we could be sent home in like 24 hours and like never see these people again. So for 3 days or so, 2 or 3 days, I forget exactly how long it was, no one is sure what's actually gonna be happening. Some of us were like getting ready to pack and stuff, like it was crazy. And keep in mind, like term is far from over. There's like 6 weeks left, 5 weeks left, because there's a 3-week choir tour at the end of fourth term. We kind of all knew at that point that the choir tour just wasn't gonna happen. So we kind of went over the weekend. We're like, okay, are we leaving? Like it was crazy stressful. Then the next, whenever we were supposed supposed to find our answer, they were like, well, we still don't know, so just keep doing your thing. So we kind of went for a couple days like that. And then the end of, I think I'm correct in saying this, the end of the fifth week, so we would have one more week after that. Yeah, you know what, this is hard to multitask and get this all straight, so I'm gonna finish this and then I'll tell you guys. The organization felt really bad about having to cancel the 3-week choir tour, which makes sense, right? Because I mean, that kind of stinks. I mean, that's like the high point of the term, in my opinion. Like right towards the end of 5th week, I think it was either Friday or Saturday. So you have like the board of like, what was it, 39 members or something. Then you have the executive board of 5 people. And they kind of called most of the shots and everything, but like, so yeah, the executive board got together and they were like, okay, since tour was canceled, what if we just like extended this term another 3 weeks? Everybody already paid for tour, so we could just give it to them for free. They would be able to sign up for classes, no new visitors or no new people would be coming in, and people could leave if they didn't want to stay. Friday or Saturday evening, they told us this, and so a lot of people were like, yes, absolutely. Several people were like, no, I gotta be home. Other people, like myself, were like leaning towards it, but like not 100% sure yet. So I was pretty much gonna sign up for it. I was basically just like ready to go for it. And then like 1 or 2 days later, I think, again, I could be off on this timeline, but I think it was like 1 day later, Sunday evening, I think. We're all like gathered together for announcements, about ready to go through the supper line. And the administrator, so he's like, basically, the executive board made that decision, but the entire board didn't necessarily know what was going on. They were a little bit misinformed. Maybe there was some bad communication. I'm not entirely sure. That's neither here nor there. The entire board was like, whoa, wait a minute. We're not like shutting down. Like, what's going on here? So they had like an emergency meeting and the board is like, no, we're shutting down. Like everybody needs to be sent home like 2 days max. Our administrator, who was super awesome, he basically interceded for us and got us another 2 days. So it was like Sunday evening, so we had from Monday till Wednesday, and then Thursday morning we all had to leave. So they wanted us to leave like on Monday or Tuesday, and he extended it or talked him into letting us stay till like Thursday morning. Just for reference, like those 3 days that we had is still cutting term short without tour, so it's still cutting it short. And those 3 days are crammed full because you've got finals are on Wednesday. So preferably you should be studying for finals those 2 days. Plus you have to pack everything up and be ready to leave, like packed and loaded. Plus you're trying to hang out with friends and like find a balance between work and friendships. It was a huge pain. It was really, really difficult. Those were some of the fullest and most stressful days of my life. It was not a pleasant time, let's say it that way. So like it all worked out. We all took our finals, we all got packed. Thursday morning, we all left. And that was it. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. But like, you guys don't really understand the level of whiplash that happens at a time like that. Okay, so let me put it into perspective here. So you're going along through life, right? Experiencing like this great time and like everything's great. You got all these friends, it's all good. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, we might all be sent home in like 24 hours and you don't know. So just like stay ready. And if anything bad happens, just like pack up and leave. So we spent like 3 days like in limbo, not knowing if we need to like leave in 24 hours and never see these people hardly ever again, or if we're gonna keep going. And then they're like, okay, actually, so like, we're not really sure, just keep going, do your own thing. And if you know anything changes, we'll let you know. So we're like, okay, sweet. So maybe they'll just delay until term ends. Oh, by the way, no choir tour, no 3-week choir tour. You've been practicing all these songs and practicing all this stuff for like the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Not gonna happen. And then it's like, good news, we get an extra 3 weeks of hanging out with our bros and like doing classes and all this good stuff. It's like, yeah, everybody's like on cloud 9. And then like the next day, like, oh, yeah, no, that's actually not gonna happen. In fact, you're gonna be sent home 3 days early. And you're gonna have to cram like crazy for all this stuff. So it's like, yeah, like back and forth, like all the time. Yeah, sorry, it would have been a little bit hard to record while riding up here. Also, it kind of looks like I'm going through a bit of a midlife crisis, because like last time you saw me, I had like this junked out, awesome, but kind of junky Ford Taurus. Now I've got like a motorcycle and a Mustang, like it just kind of, yeah. So I wanted to tell you all those things because, well, for two reasons. One was just to catch you up on what happened because I wasn't able to film there. But the second reason was because I learned a very, very, very valuable life lesson through that whole experience. And I wanted to share it with you, but tie it to an experience. Otherwise it would be harder to remember and it wouldn't make as much sense. Here's what I learned. So the way or the attitude in which you hold your life directly corresponds with your level of happiness when difficult times happen. So for example, like our theme through that whole time was like, are you holding life like this or like this? With open hands or with clenched fists? Are you willing to allow change to happen? Now obviously like it was not fun. Like it was 2 weeks of being yanked all over the place while still having a tremendous amount of work. It was really, really stressful. That whole experience of like losing stuff, losing a lot of interactions with my friends, like I had almost an entire month just get chopped off of something that I was really looking forward to and had been anticipating for a year at least. As those things unfolded, and it just felt like one thing after another just kept getting stricter and tighter and worse. But I learned that if you hold life with clenched fists and you're not willing to let things go, or you try to hold on to them, in the end it's gonna make it so much worse. Because like for me, those things would have happened whether or not I would have wanted them to or not. Like obviously I wanted them not to, but I was willing to let them go. But if I would have been willing not to let them go, it would have hurt so much worse. And the other thing is, whenever you hold life with open hands and you say like, okay, this is important to me. Yes, like I'm not minimizing that it hurt and that it was not fun, but saying that like, if this gets taken out, it's gonna be filled with something else. And being willing to say, yeah, it sucks, but what am I gonna learn from this? Because if you hold it like this, and it gets ripped out, guess whose fault it is? It's life's fault, and life's out to get me, and the government conspiracies and all this stuff. And you look for people to blame. And let me tell you something, life is not fun when you live life like that. Like, it's just not. You feel like life is out to get you. Life is not out to get you. Like, you're living life. Life isn't like living you, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, like I think you know what I mean. Because I was willing to allow those things to happen without having a bad attitude and getting angry at it, I suddenly realized that, like, hold the phone. I learned so much more in that course of 2 weeks than I would have ever learned if the entire thing would never have been cut short and I would have had another month to hang out with my friends and study and have a good time. I would have learned so much less during that whole period than I would have experiencing this shorter period of intense trials, if that's the way of putting it. And so now looking back on it, if I would have been angry at life and angry that this was happening to me and just like, oh, this is stupid, like not willing to give it up, I never would have learned all those things. And before you like comment down below and say like, oh, it's easier said than done, or like, what do you know about this? Like, it was really hard. Like, this was really, really hard. Don't jump to conclusions and automatically think that your scenario is somehow worse than mine was, because like, I probably won't believe you. And either way, it still comes back to what you make out of it, how you view life, how you look at it. If you always view life like life is out to get you, guess what? Life is gonna get you. Right, Darcy? Oh yeah. I want to leave you with this challenge of, how do you view life? What is your attitude towards life? Are you holding life like this? Like, don't get my stuff, this is mine, you can't have it. Or are you saying like, here you go. If you take something out, it's gonna be filled with something else. And yeah, it's gonna hurt, and you might not see the importance of it right away, but ultimately, are you gonna accept it with a gracious attitude and say, what can I learn from this? Even though it's different than what I was thinking. As I live life, I learned that I don't know very much about life, so I kind of shy away from making videos like this where it's just like, here's what you need to know about how to live life. Like, yeah, okay, I don't really care for those sort of videos. So this is kind of out of the ordinary for me, but that's just something that I learned in my experience. I realize that this might sound like I'm trying to tell you how to live your life, and I don't want it to come across that way, or that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say this is my experience, this is what I have learned, and I'm hoping that it can help you in some ways as well. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and follow me and all that good stuff. I post very random stuff and very sporadically and all over the place. But yeah, it's I'm starting to learn how to post the real me, like what I'm actually doing, what I'm actually experiencing, and yeah, not trying to fabricate stuff to like push a message. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'll see you later. Have a good day.